Mitch, you teased it earlier. Let's go up to Stillwater, Oklahoma. The Cowboys started 3-0 last year, and then they went 0-9 to close out the year. 0-9 in Big 12 play. I mean, no one had this on their bingo card. They had an 18-year bowl streak. They were one of the most experienced teams in all of college football. I think Phil Steele had them as the most experienced team in all of college football. They had a Heisman candidate in Ollie Gordon, and it just all fell apart, man. Like, once the losses started piling up, it got really toxic really fast. There were rumors of what Mike Gundy's future was going to look like. He was somewhat holding them hostage over a contract situation. It just became, you said days of our lives earlier, it became days of our lives and all my children having a toxic child together really, really quickly in Stillwater. And now all of that's gone because this is a completely new team. You have dozens of transfers coming in on both sides of the ball. You have two new coordinators, Doug Meacham, the offensive coordinator, Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator, a big name, but one that might not be a big name for the right reasons. Tell me about Oklahoma State. Like, my third bullet point is shrug emoji because you said it best in the Houston preview. This could be a team that Mike Gundy just fires up and finds a way to conjure up some magic, and they're right in the thick of things in October and November. Or we could be looking at a coaching change at the end of the season.
You could talk me into 8-4 for this Oklahoma State team. You could talk me into 2-10. I mean, it is that wide. It's a Grand Canyon when it comes to the range of possible outcomes. You mentioned dozens of transfers. That's putting it mildly. They have 65 new faces on the roster as of recording, which is an ungodly amount of new guys. I made a joke to you the other day regarding playing on the college football video game that I was handing out name tags at the start of spring practice. Mike Gundy literally was. I mean, over 2/3 of their roster is new faces, guys that have never taken a snap for Oklahoma State. And most of those guys, Trey, even to make that more unbelievable, most of those guys arrived on campus June 1. They haven't even been in Stillwater for 2 months yet. And we're supposed to expect that they're going to all come together to form a cohesive football team. Like, that is truly the mountain that Mike Gundy is up against. But to his credit, in Big 12 Media Days, he said, you know what, like, as much as changed and as much as not gone our way, he said, I'm working more hours than ever right now, and I love it. It keeps him engaged. It keeps him active. Nothing is the same on a day-to-day basis. And so, I mean, honestly, hat tip to him at that point. He has done just about everything that a good to somewhat great coach will do in college football other than win a national championship, right? For him to be as deep into this as he is, this is his 22nd year? I think 22nd year.
I had 21st, but I was going off Bill's.
Maybe it's...
He might have misprinted.
Well, no, it's either 21 or 22.
Yeah,
Oklahoma
it's been
State
a long time.
Right in. Yeah, 2+ decades. For him to still be locked in, I think is really cool. And, it's an entirely new staff. He had to basically clean house to save his own job. And he said that as he was dismissing his staff, he did say, hey, this is not all on you. This is half on you. This is half on me, basically. Wish you the best and happy trails. So with so much new, there's not a lot of known commodities. Quarterback one is a battle between two guys who have never taken a single snap for Pistol Pete. Zane Flores is a third-year guy on campus, so he's accustomed to Stillwater, but he was redshirted and then he's been injured, had a foot injury all of last year, and so didn't get to play even though everybody and their mother got into the game at quarterback for the Pokes. And then Haas Haney dominated Texas high school football at Aledo High School, a local powerhouse up here in North Texas. He transfers from TCU, so he goes back to the black and orange, which I think is really cool. I would love to see Haney get his chance. He's a dual threat kid. I think he would bring a big-time spark to that offense. Frankly, I just don't know enough about Zane Flores. I don't know that anybody does to tell you one way or another if they can believe in that passing attack. The rushing attack has to be markedly improved this year. And you mentioned Ollie Gordon, a Heisman contender and a favorite coming into the year last year. The offensive line was horrific last year. And part of that was because the passing game never took off, and so teams could just stack the box and say, okay, we're stopping Ollie Gordon, and if you're going to beat us, you got to throw it over the top. And Oklahoma State was not able to do that. But at one point, I think Oklahoma State was rushing for something like 1.5 yards a carry. I mean, it was abysmal. They finished the year 114th in the country in rushing, which we expected them to finish like 14th in the country. So quite a wide dispersion there of results. And then, I think defense is going to have to be committee by committee as well. There's just, it's a turnstile back there, and they're replacing all the key players at all the key positions. Todd Grantham comes in after, being just about everywhere in both college and the NFL scene. He's going to have to kind of earn his reputation back in college football again. There's a reason why he was, I think, an analyst at the NFL level. I can't remember if he was a coordinator or an analyst, but he's been hired and dismissed at a number of places. And so I'm sure part of the draw for getting Grantham was that Grantham then brought staff members with him. And so there was going to be continuity on that end, which when everything has changed, I guess a little bit of continuity is a good thing, and you'll take it where you can get it. But I just don't know. I don't know what to believe in. I don't know what to point at yet to say that, yeah, this is the reason why Oklahoma State is going to make a bowl game or not make a bowl game. It's a guessing game.
You mentioned the reputation that Todd Grantham has. Ever since a couple years ago when they lost the defensive coordinator that
Jim Knowles.
Yeah, Jim Knowles. Thank you. I had the wrong OSU in my head, and that threw me off. I was like, no, he wasn't at Oklahoma State. He was at Ohio State, but he was at both. When they lost Jim Knowles, ever since then, the defense has just been abysmal. And last year, it really felt like it bottomed out. 501 yards per game allowed, 215 allowed per game on the ground, 36 points per game allowed. There's new faces, and that's great, but they've kind of got a culture problem on that side of the ball, it feels like, because it's just been getting worse and worse every year. I do like Kyron Duhan, who comes up from UTEP, 7 sacks last year as a freshman, but they lost their top 5 linebackers. The secondary was decent, had its moments last year. They get Jalen Davies from UCLA, bring back Cam Smith and Parker Robertson, but like you said it best, man. It is just a total up in the air. I joked about this with North Carolina, that if anyone knows what's going to happen or tells you they know what's going to happen, they're not telling the truth to you. They really don't know what's going to happen this year. And I feel the same way about Oklahoma State. You pull up the schedule and, part of me wants to give Gundy the benefit of the doubt. It was a down year. He really hasn't had a year anywhere close to as bad as that one last year since his first year. I mentioned the 18-year bowl streak that he was on. The non-conference feels just absolutely brutal anytime you include a road game to Autzen Stadium. So we're starting 0-1 with that. Tulsa, I don't think is going to be much of a challenge, but that's an in-state rivalry that could get plucky and feisty if Oklahoma State's not paying attention. We've seen Oklahoma State struggle with lesser G5 opponents in the past, so can't overlook that one. You look at the conference schedule, they get Baylor at home. They go to Texas Tech, to Kansas State, and Iowa State at home to end the year. And then a whole lot of, hey, we're hoping to play a close game and come out on the right side of it, I feel like, in the other games.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to find an identity early. That defense is certainly going to have to step up. They're going to have to be able to stop the pass. They were 131st in the country. You could get whatever you wanted through the air. And, I led with my favorite storyline this year is the quarterback play. And so having, a secondary that is objectively a lot of new faces, but the last thing that we saw from them was you and I could have put up nice numbers through the air. So we'll see, man. I'm certainly rooting for Gundy. I feel like it was so weird watching Oklahoma State just be down and out and a non-factor. That was really that's why they got rid of the media poll in the Big 12, is because just about everybody they expected to contend either barely made a bowl game or straight up didn't. So rooting for Oklahoma State. I love when they're plucky and when they're, vying for a top 20 spot. And, Stillwater is normally just an impossible place to win when it's rocking. So I want to see them get back to that and be a real factor in the Big 12.
Me too, man. I love watching games when they got the paddles going. There's nothing like a big night game in Stillwater. It feels just like a big time environment in that conference, and it'd be great to get that back really soon.